Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review, and today we're checking out what is quite possibly the greatest weapon pack to come out for Fallout 4. At the very least, this is definitely the greatest lore-friendly weapon pack that we've ever seen. Now, I've used that title a few times before, and oftentimes it's referring to Skibidi, and the same is true today. Skibidi has released the Rifles Rebirth pack, which is going to include a handful of his original weapons, as well as some brand new ones. The old weapons have been completely remade, and the new weapons have been made from scratch, and they are all amazing. Every single weapon included in this pack looks amazing, lore-friendly, and has the highest possible quality put into it. These weapons are absolutely fantastic, and there's no reason that anybody out there shouldn't download this weapon mod immediately. If you're not familiar with Skibidi's work, you may recognize mods like the Machine Guns Rebirth pack or the Miniguns Rebirth pack. Well, this is going to be very similar, though it's going to be a handful of rifles. Again, including some of Skibidi's original rifles like the WH-77 LMG, as well as the IF-54 battle rifle. Those will be completely recreated from scratch in this mod, along with a handful of other weapons. In total, this mod is going to give you 6 brand new weapons in 1.0, though there will be an additional weapon coming in the 1.1 update, along with a handful of other features. As of right now, most of the weapons do use vanilla animations, though a couple do have custom animations, and the ones that do have vanilla animations you can download reanimations for, which is pretty sick. All of the weapons in this pack will be added to the level list, so you'll be able to find them on vendors and enemies. Additionally, there are a handful of static spawns all over the world. You will be able to find weapons at the following locations: Sentinel Site Prescott, Fort Hagen, the Castle, Listening Post Bravo, the National Guard Armory, National Guard Barracks, the Boston Mayoral Shelter, the Ticker Tape Lounge, the USAF Station Olivia, Yangtze, Barney's Bunker, Ticonderoga Station, South Boston Military Checkpoint, Trinity Tower, and the Coast Guard Pier. And on top of that, anywhere that you can find a random APC on the road, there's a good chance that one of these weapons will spawn there as well. And to be honest, I'm really happy that there are static spawns alongside the leveled lists in this mod. As you all know, I am a big fan of makeshift weapons, but Fallout does deserve some pre-war weapons too, and that's pretty much what is included in this pack. So having them be specifically at military bases makes a whole lot of sense, and I like that a lot. Now, I've already talked a good bit about the pack, and there's still a whole lot more. This is going to be a bit longer of a video, and things are going to be structured a bit differently from our typical mod review, since there are so many weapons, but we'll try to speed through it as fast as possible. For now, let's go ahead and check out each individual weapon in its stats page and talk about what they are. For starters, let's check out Skibidi's original weapons that have since been remastered in this pack. The IF-54 battle rifle, now just known as the IF-54, looks absolutely incredible. This is such a lore-friendly assault rifle, much better than anything in the vanilla game, like the vanilla quote-unquote assault rifle or combat rifle. This is something that should have been in their place. This is perfect, a perfect combination of modern and retro furniture. I'm in love with this gun, I truly am, and this is one of the few that has custom animations in this pack. This is going to be a 5.56 shooting assault rifle. It does have the capacity for full auto or semi-auto, and a ton of modifications at the workbench that make it pretty much viable in just about any combat scenario. Let's go ahead and check this thing out with its reload, and we'll do the same for each of the other weapons in this pack. When it comes to animations, this IF-54 does have some pretty nice ones. I'll go ahead and let those play for you now, and the sound design is really nice as well. The other original weapon from Skibidi is the WH-77 LMG, which again has been completely remastered and has a whole new look while still maintaining some of its original elements, and this thing looks incredible. It does feature a side-fed magazine and does use the vanilla assault rifle animations, though you can actually download an animation replacer. It is possible that we will see updated animations for some of these weapons in the 1.1 update, but only time will tell. It depends on if Skibidi decides to implement that or not. Let's go ahead and check out the reload on this one as well, and I am using a reload replacer for this weapon. Specifically, the reanimation I am using for this is the one that actually has the patch for my MG69, which works really, really well on this weapon since it does have a slightly altered bolt. So I'll go ahead and show that for you now. It looks really, really nice on this weapon. A really awesome inclusion in this mod is the TD64, which many of you will recognize as the Chinese assault rifle from Fallout 3, or at least a semi-modernized version of it. And it looks so good. Oh my god, look at this model. It's absolutely incredible. I absolutely love the design of this. It functions exactly like you would expect it to. It does use 7.62 caliber rounds, has a damage of 29, making it a pretty viable mid to late game assault rifle. Of course, it does have automatic options, though you can use the weapon modifications in Fallout 4 to turn this into a DMR of sorts or even an LMG. It's really up to you based on how you want to customize it over at the weapons workbench. So the Chinese assault rifle in this pack does have custom animations, making use of the right-handed Nuka World AK animations, and they work really, really nice, as to be expected. The next weapon in this pack, known as the LR72, is essentially Skibada's answer to the combat rifle, and this thing's pretty interesting. You can give it some retro wood furniture or some polymer furniture. This one is a completely made up weapon like most of the weapons in this pack, if not all of them, and it has a very unique design with a trippy looking carry handle, some pretty interesting iron sights that are raised up quite a bit there, but it is still really, really cool. Big props for being very, very unique. This thing does have a couple of ammo rechambers that you can throw on. It is intended to be more of a marksman rifle role, though you can put it in full auto if you so please. Now, by default, this rifle will use the combat rifle animations, but I do happen to have War Daddy's reanimation for the combat rifle installed, so that's what you're going to see on the screen right now. Up next in this rifle pack, we have the IFAM 50, which is a gigantic 50 caliber sniper rifle that doesn't even fit on the entire screen. You kind of have to turn it to get that long barrel in there, though there are shorter barrel options as well as a handful of different options at the weapons workbench that can give it a bit of a different role, although it's pretty much always going to be a 50 caliber sniper. This is really nice because there are no 50 cals in the base game other than just converting some of the original weapons into 50 caliber, but there's nothing that shoots 50 cal by default. So having this in the pack is really, really nice. And this is another one of the weapons that does have its own custom animation with a right-handed bolt, which is really, really cool. I absolutely adore the reload animation on this thing and the sound design. It really makes this 50 cal feel beefy, unlike the vanilla 50 cal on the hunting rifle. We then have an interesting little gun known as the TNP-45 SMG, which gives off some major P90 vibes or some 12.7 SMG vibes if you're thinking of New Vegas. And this gun's really, really cool. It has a top-mounted magazine with a P90 style feed, and altogether just makes for a fun little SMG. Now, the TNP SMG is pretty interesting because it does actually use vanilla animations specifically for the plasma rifle. I do believe Skibada said they did intend to have custom animations for this weapon, but they ran into some issues. Hopefully, we will see those added in the 1.1 update, but until then, these actually do work pretty fine. I have no issues with them whatsoever. Now, we are already about 10 minutes into the video and we haven't even started on attachments yet, and there are 6 weapons in this pack, so I'm going to be very, very brief. Each of these weapons is going to have a handful of attachments that you would expect to see on weapons like these, including different receiver options, barrel options, and stock options, magazine sights, muzzles, you name it, it's here. And on a couple of them, you even get some extra options like the ability to change out wood and polymer furniture, stuff like that. Pretty much everything you would expect to see in a nice new weapon mod like this. Most of them will have cosmetic changes. Whenever you change the barrel, they will actually change. The stocks, of course, will change and give you different effects. And they are all very nice, beautifully handcrafted attachments. Each of them had their own bit of time and care put into them, and they all look really nice, I gotta say. One of my favorite things in this pack is actually the bayonet. It's just a cool, unique model, and it's off to the side like that. It just looks really cool, so I like that a lot. One important thing to note that all of these weapons do share is the ammo type at the bottom. On top of some of the rechambers and different receivers you can throw on, there is also a different type of ammo. You can choose like jacketed hollow points, armor piercing, full metal jacket, whatever you prefer to change out the kind of damage you're doing with each of these weapons, which is a nice touch to kind of help tweak the damage just a little bit in your favor. Alright, and it wouldn't be a weapon mod review if we didn't do some damage tests, but we have so many weapons to test that what we're going to do is just test out the base versions of each of these weapons, at least in terms of their receivers and ammo types, so that we can get a proper read on how these weapons will function when you first pick them up. And in my opinion, all of these are pretty well balanced for what they are. So with that, let's go ahead and start testing. For starters, we have the IF-54, a nice little assault rifle. Let's see how it does. And in exactly one magazine of 25 rounds, he puts down the Deathclaw using 5.56. Pretty nice. How about the WH-77 machine gun? And again, in exactly one magazine with 30 rounds and 5.56, he puts down that Deathclaw. Let's see how we do with the TD Chinese assault rifle. And in just under a magazine, around 30 to 35 bullets, that Deathclaw is down if you hit his weak point every single time. Now let's try out the combat rifle. And in, again, just under a magazine, around 25 rounds, that Deathclaw is down. So they all have a pretty similar damage profile, which is pretty interesting. But we do have a couple more weapons to test. We then, of course, have the newly added 50 caliber sniper rifle, which is going to take a while, given that it has a very slow reload. We may actually put him down in one magazine. Same as all of the other weapons, except with only 5 rounds in this magazine, but they are 50 caliber. And then we have the SMG using 10mm. Let's see how it does. And we are not even halfway through his health. It's going to take us one more reload. And there, around 115 bullets later in 10mm, this thing doesn't do a ton of damage, though it does have a really, really nice fire rate. So if you've got some 10mm or 45 to spare, depending on which rechamber you use, this weapon's pretty nice. So yeah, guys, that is the Rifles Rebirth pack. Sorry I couldn't show off every single little detail. We would have been here for an hour if we had gone into all of the nooks and crannies. But at its core, you're going to get 6 brand new rifles, and in the updated version, you'll actually have 7. I don't actually know what the last rifle is going to be, so I'm really excited to see what that is. But in the meantime, you get a ton of beautiful, lore-friendly weapons added to the leveled list and all over the Commonwealth at different locations. They're all really balanced, really nice, have a ton of modifications, and they're all amazing models. Skibidi has absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one, just like every other mod pack, but now you're getting even more rifles. If you haven't checked out Miniguns Rebirth or the Machine Guns Rebirth pack, try those as well and download this one on top, and you will have a whole new suite of weapons for Fallout 4. You could replace every single one of the vanilla weapons with one of these guns and it would fit just fine. And I think that was kind of the goal with this pack, including weapons of various different types. So you have a nice variety of weapons to choose from. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I really hope you enjoyed the mod. Click the link in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do. With that, Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating. Consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Big shout out as always to all of my patrons, and a special thank you to Helljumper2077, Youth RC, Indecisive Wolf, and Jackie Noid for joining up for that tier 3 Patreon membership. Thank you guys so much. If Patreon sounds like your thing, it's linked down in the description below, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace!